Welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. Become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. Pick up a free hat and or shirt every single year you are a diehard. Shop the exclusive, the elusive number 18 collection right now. Hot and ready to go, as is your boys. I'm Johnny Venerable, your host, your co-host, Mr. Brack, live at the PHNX headquarters in downtown Phoenix. Producer extraordinaire Damon, Dawg, behind the mic. We're talking fat stacks of cash today. Who gets them by the Arizona Cardinals, Bo?
That's a good question, right? There's several candidates, guys who are perceived or actually are leaders in the locker room, guys who are going to do it not only in the starting lineup, but are doing it already on the practice field in the locker room and helping this Arizona Cardinals team usher in a new era along with Jonathan Gannon. And we'll see if they have visions of them sticking around and being part of this team going forward. And it's as they start to kind of chip away at being a winning franchise consistently.
The good news about having a team in a rebuild is you don't have to pay a lot of people. Cardinals found that out last year. They kicked Budda Baker, a little bit of scratch, and they say, hey, we're going to keep you around next 2 years, and we're going to kick this can down the road, and then we're going to reassess, right? And I think everybody assumed, well, they got to get Kyler Murray's contract off the books, the novice, the casuals, right, with relation to this market. And now it's like you look at Kyler Murray, he's secure. How many guys are also secure? Especially you talk about that group of the Steve Keim holdovers, right? Mm-hmm. We're just going to call them the holdovers. Who is worthy of sticking around? It's not like they're not good football players, but at the same time, Bo, are these going to be guys approaching, in some cases, 30 years old at non-premium positions that the Arizona Cardinals are going to prioritize? It's going to be very difficult for Monti Ossenfort because I think, not to give too much away, like they'd love to sign Paris Johnson Jr. to a contract extension. Michael Wilson, hopefully, eventually. Marvin Harrison Jr. Those are their own. I think this next group of free agents or impending free agents is a group right now that is going to have a lot of hard decisions, Bo.
Yeah, and actually, it's good for the organization, though. It's good that these guys have emerged and made it tough on this team, and that they've been able to kind of shake off the negative stigma of being a Keim player, right? Yeah. That they were able to buy into the new culture and kind of continue on wearing the Arizona Cardinals uniform, but do it in probably a better way to represent the organization and extend their playing career. Because I think every single person we're going to talk about has a couple more years, at least a couple more years left. Because they're going into either prime years or they're playing at a high level, and that the organization, as you said, they're going to have to make that tough decision whether or not, they want to invest what it's going to cost to keep them off the open market and move forward with them. I mean, it's really going to be tough because you're right. I think where the organization really kind of invested its draft capital, and it does want to be a draft and develop team, is those premium positions. So they've got some guys on the cheap right now at those spots, but you still need to fill out a roster. You still need guys to play at a high level, whether it's on the interior of the defensive line, whether it's on the back end of the defensive secondary, whether it's, secondary playmaker positions or primary playmaker positions that are maybe overlooked or you feel like you can find on the cheap elsewhere. It's going to be really fascinating to see how it plays out. But I will say, like, every single one that had that negative stigma of being a Keim player, I think that they've done an incredible job in shaking it off over the last year and a half.
And it's a testament to them that they're finishing their contracts, right? Like, I think that was a big question mark. Like, people were ready to replace James Conner last year. Oh, yeah. Draft somebody high. Let's take a first round back. Let's take Jahmyr Gibbs in the second round. Let's move on from James Conner. And then what does he do? Is his best professional career ever last year and is one of the unquestioned leaders on this team. And Budda Baker asking for a trade last offseason. Oh, you got to sell high on Budda Baker, move on I think for those two players in particular, the biggest microscope is going to be age, wear and tear, and then the non-traditional, non-premium positions of running back and safety. And what they do this year, Bo, the Arizona Cardinals, well, they're already paying Jalen Thompson, good safety money. And Jalen Thompson had a career year last year. He earned it. But they drafted a running back at the top of the 3rd round. They drafted a safety at the top of the 4th round. Well, why did they do that? I mean, they're going to be contributors this year. Yeah. Could they be heir apparents? Are the Cardinals going to see enough from those two players in Rabbit and Trey Benson, respectfully, to be able to say, you know what, we're gonna allocate funds elsewhere? And so James Conner, Budda Baker, to no surprise, kick off our list of extension candidates. Let's see it, Mr. Damon, Dawg. And it's a group of 6 players, all of which but one, sweet baby Trey McBride, there's an asterisk at the bottom, are eligible for free agency next offseason. But I put Trey McBride on there, and let me just get this out of the way, Bo Brock, because I think he's going to be the next one to get paid. I'll go ahead and say that now. I think, sure, they could sign Hjalte, Froholdt, or Will Hernandez or somebody else this offseason to a team-friendly deal. But I think Trey McBride is going to have a Pro Bowl season at tight end. I think Trey McBride is going to get the next big contract from the Arizona Cardinals. That's 3 years under his belt. He'll go into a contract year in 2025. The Cardinals don't want to deal with that. So put the asterisk on there. He's not a free agent, but I'll shoot my shot right now. I think Trey is the next guy to get paid, assuming he can double down on what he did this year.
That's accurate. That's accurate. Man, I love this picture that we got. If you're watching on YouTube, it looks like a sports car that just got in a car accident, because that's the type of, that is Trey McBride, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just, playing with elite athleticism. His shoulder pad is all jacked up. It looks like the fender of like a Porsche that just T-boned somebody. That's probably what he did after the catch there, taking on the Ravens in this photo. And he's everything that the Arizona Cardinals organization wants to be about as far as the on and off the field stuff that Trey McBride brings to the table. But no, I mean, as far as multi-years, but big money, right? I think that you can find some guys on here that are multi-year candidates, but are they going to, really command big money, guaranteed money? And Trey McBride, absolutely, especially when you look at what his age, he's going to be 24. If you start to kind of forecast it down the line, like if you're going to try to get an extension done, go the year before his final year of his rookie contract, which is the 2020-25 season, I apologize. I think that you're more looking at him being 25, and then you get into those prime years. All the guys that they sign deals to this offseason were right around 26, 27 years old.
Yeah, I look at this list too, and I emphasize the fact that Greg Dortch is 25. He's a young player like McBride, but at the same time, he plays a position where the Cardinals just invested 2 premium picks. Do we need to cut away from this graphic momentarily here? There's Shane Diefenbach, host of PHNX Sun Devils. I'd like to congratulate you, Shane. You just had the head coach of ASU on your program, sweet baby Kenny Dillingham, and we were fired up about that. But at the same time, you were throwing shade at me off air. What's going on?
I was throwing shade. You were the one calling me beer boy yesterday, saying I was born to serve you beer.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We were saving that for segment 3, but we'll go ahead and bring Shane Diefenbach on. So this show at some point this offseason is going to perform or attempt to the 9 and 9 challenge, 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, and 9 innings at Chase Field at the Diamondbacks game. And I made a recommendation. I said, Shane Diefenbach of PHNX Sun Devils would be a great beer boy for us.
Of all time.
Not only would I not serve you beers, I would dominate you guys. I would.
I think we said yesterday
you would 9, 9, and 6.
We agreed that you could do the beers. I don't think you could do the hot dogs.
Whoa.
Dude, I don't think you're looking at an Adonis, 6'4", tall, dark, and handsome, 240-pound male right now. I am shoving glizzies in my mouth. I am going glizzy overdrive, all of it.
I didn't need the noise.
Right.
All right.
There's a walk-off moment right there.
He was very upset. He took offense to it. And we're going to talk more about
He's a grizzly bear. That's what he is. He loves it. He loves a nice glizzy.
Kenny Dillingham, check out the show. The fellas did in all seriousness, fantastic stuff with the ASU head man in studio earlier today. Get back to these extension candidates if we could, as the show's completely gone off the rails already. I think if it's not Trey McBride, I think it's one of the 2 offensive linemen. And if I'm looking at that group right now, every year in free agency, I feel like quality guards are available. I think they're going to get Will Hernandez something done, assuming he plays well. How often are there starting centers that have a rapport with your quarterback available in free agency, Bo? I just feel like it doesn't happen. I think Hjalte Froholdt, if it's not Trey McBride, it will be the journeyman, quote-unquote, journeyman center that they snagged from the Browns. They stole from the Browns. He played a really good season last year. If Froholdt plays all 17 games again this year, it's a done deal. There is no heir apparent on this roster, respectfully to Jonathan Gaines and Isaiah Adams. Trey McBride is number one. Hjalte Froholdt for me is number two. Based on position, not versatility, but importance, you have to have a quality center with your franchise quarterback, Kyler Murray, making $50 million.
Yeah, and Froholdt is already like revered in the locker room. I had asked him about, the leadership role he's kind of taken on this year, and he kind of shot back. Like, it's not something he intended on doing, but it's just basically happened organically. And it happened early last year as he was an all-star in the weight room, and he'd done everything that was asked of him from his new organization. And obviously he had a little bit of a leg up because he had some insight on how Drew Petzing wanted to do things offensively. He was an extension of the coach. But for Hjalte, like I agree, he's at the right age, and his play last year merited it. And I think it's going to merit it this season. And also going into this, like, there's no heir apparent in the building right now. Like, you can say, I like John Gaines as a prospect, but that's what he is. Like, all we know about John Gaines is he was a versatile offensive lineman at UCLA, really athletic for a big man, coming off a serious ACL injury. But do we know if he can be a full-time center? I mean, we think so, but this is a league where it will chew up and spit out young offensive linemen. I mean, not everybody's Creed Humphrey coming from the Big 12 at Oklahoma and then immediately starring at the center spot. It's a tough spot to fill. And Hjalte Froholdt, like, you don't let him out of your grasp when you have an opportunity to keep him in. So I got to imagine, and I think that this has got to be a question anytime we get to talk to Monti is, are you talking with Froholdt's representation? Is that somebody you're looking to lock in long term? Because I think that's an important question going forward.
Will Hernandez is a tough SOB, and I hope they extend him. But he's already gotten 2 contracts from this franchise, from 2 different regimes. Froholdt, I mean, you talk about coming out of nowhere, claiming the job, not letting it go to the point where, like, we were talking last offseason, like, who is the veteran that they had signed in June or July to come in and compete with Hjalte Froholdt that ended up, like, we thought would be, a threat to him. Yeah, cut before, the end of the training camp preseason. And it was Froholdt's job.
But yeah.
And so, listen, at the end of the day, you can't screw around with certain positions in the NFL. You can't screw around with quarterback, head coach, I think edge rusher. I think center has become a premium position in the NFL. Like, it's offensive line, it's interior, people dismiss it. But the amount that you have to take hold, the calls that you have to make, it's also a big reason, like the Corey Linsleys of the world, right? The guys that pop later in their career, you have to be intellectually capable to handle a lot. And you're mixing and matching different combinations. That's why guys like Lindsey, when they hit the market and they go from the Packers to the Chargers or wherever, it's like, oh, this guy's 30 years old. He's playing his best football. The Cardinals finally have the foresight with Dave Sears and Monti Ossenfort to say, like, we can identify talent from other teams that we feel like within our scheme can excel. We're going to put them in a position. You might have been a backup or a 6th offensive lineman here. You're going to come here and we're going to elevate you with our coaching and our culture and the players around you. Well, when you find that, you don't want to let that go and let that go somewhere else. Like, they want to be able to have the best years of Hjalte Froholdt's career happen right here in the desert. Like, I have no problem saying this. And this is not a hot take because the position has been such a dumpster fire for forever. He is their best center easily since Lyle Sentline. Rodney Hudson was a huge disaster, right? They went through way too many under Bruce Arians. I mean, this is the best center unequivocally Kyler Murray has ever played with consistently. The fact that he's team, he's always with the players in the offseason. He's always working his ass off. If you follow him on Instagram, he's working out in his garage, in his weight room. Like, he's all bought in. So he may not be the most talented. He may not be Tyler Lindenbaum-esque, right? Or Ragnow or whatever the guy in Detroit. But he's maxing out every single piece of his athletic prowess, his athletic attributes, ability to help the Cardinals win. So, like, I think, like, if they turned around tomorrow and they signed Hjalte Froholdt to a 3-year, $45 million deal, with like 25 million guaranteed, I think most of the fans would be like, good move, smart move, right?
And I mean, we see John Gaines. He was in street clothes yesterday. I mean, he's not.
Well,
he's not starting. He's not participating right now. I'm not knocking the kid. I mean, he had the ACL tear in the final game of the preseason. Like he's got a long road back. And this is not a position he played full time in college.
No.
This is a position that they feel like he could play at the next level, but they were going to lean on his versatility. It's not anybody that like I think is a true threat right now to push Hjalte Froholdt. If anything, it's the guy that Froholdt was joking around about that has NFL center experience, and Evan Brown who could pop over there. Right?
Can I just read you a quick stat here on Hjalte Froholdt too? Because I think a lot of people. I mean, he was a 4th rounder from the Patriots, so Ossenfort scouted him, and then he has ties to Drew Petzing because he was in Cleveland with Petzing. He played 1,100 snaps last year, precisely 1,123 snaps. You know how many hits he allowed? 4. 3 sacks allowed, and I think that was early in the season. I mean, he is an exceptionally consistent player. You don't just throw that away. So to me, it is Trey McBride because he's an alpha, he's an A player. And then it's Hjalte Froholdt, respectfully. Like, I love James Conner and Budda Baker. I am prioritizing the guys that are younger, that I think play more valuable positions, because here's what you can unequivocally say. Jalen Thompson played better than Budda Baker last year. Now, Budda has a chance to reclaim that this year and be an all-pro, and we're hoping and rooting for that, and I would be excited if they extended him. But Trey McBride and Hjalte Froholdt, to me, are atop the list right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with it. And I think Will Hernandez is so endearing as far as what he brings to the locker room, the camaraderie, and the offensive line. And like, if it becomes one of those hard decisions, like because he could be sought after if he gets to free agency. And I think do we have the Will Hernandez clip from yesterday? I believe we do. Damon's got this. This is from yesterday, but we're going to play it today for the first time. Will Hernandez just talking about his excitement being in the Valley and potentially staying in the Valley.
I love living out here in Phoenix. I feel right at home. It's where I want to be. And another year, it's just another opportunity to be here longer.
I mean, that's all you have to say there. But internally, like when I look at this list, like viable in-house options, I think interior offensive line, especially with the young guys that they have from like, the kid they drafted, Isaiah Adams out of Illinois, even though, he figures more on the left side or more comfortable on the left side, and then Gaines, of course. And then you look at, I think guard would be more the position that they would F around with, like not in the worst sense, like, but they would want to lock in your center first and then move out.
Will Hernandez was, let's just say he had an uncomfortable time in New York. I think he would tell you that. Like, the fans weren't great to him.
Everybody who plays the offensive line has a tough time in New York.
He was a high pick out of, what was it, UTEP? I loved him coming out of UTEP. Tremendous prospect. Went to the Senior Bowl, crushed it, had a good rookie year for the Giants, and then their organization basically imploded, and he suffered the brunt of that. He has been nothing if not above average since he came to the Arizona Cardinals. So much so, you talk about enduring. Like, there are games in which he doesn't practices, weeks of practice where he doesn't participate. You're like, no chance he plays this weekend. He goes out there and competes. Like, he is a throwback in the truest sense. Plus, he's talked about the comfort level in Arizona, being close to where he grew up. His heritage is here. The people he knows, right? Close to family. You can't put a price on that. Like, certainly you could get offered more to move, back out east or, Middle America or wherever. That will play a factor. I'm not asking anybody to take a discount. I think the Cardinals, I have no insight on this, have Will Hernandez if they want him. And I think they would. And I think you could do just a series of maybe 2-year deals with Will. It's like, hey, man, we'll give you some guarantee money. Let's just run it back a couple of years. Whereas I think Hjalte Froholdt, if Hjalte Froholdt plays 17 games this year and builds upon what he did last year, he will have a robust market. And you better
probably
make
be
sure.
a $50 million center.
Right.
Don't you think? I mean, that's pretty great. I mean, but then you see some of the junk that got, big time deals this offseason. I don't think there's any doubt. Like, when you find consistent play and guys that can do it, and he's cerebral, right? He's strong, and he's in his prime. Like, he's 27 now, as the graphic points out, and he'll be, a couple more years there before people start to see fall off at that position. I mean, and those are two guys that we're talking about that just made the trip with, or just went to the ball game with Kyler Murray at Chase Field on Sunday.
It makes me think they're not going anywhere.
Will Hernandez went to Norman, hung out. He went to the OKC Dallas game too in Oklahoma City. Like, he's traveling with Kyler Murray. He's boys with Paris Johnson Jr. Like that. It's a tight knit group, and it's the group, especially the offensive line, that you want to be the tightest, most cohesive on your team. Now, this is the biggest, toughest, the discussion debate as far as we have these extension candidates is Budda Baker.
Yeah, I think right now it is. I've said this. I think this is his last year in Arizona. Look what happened to the free agent market for safeties this year. Like, the Cardinals are paying Budda Baker. He's making good money. He and Jalen Thompson are top 5 players paid on the team right now. Budda Baker, I think, has second highest salary only to K1. Couldn't tell you what, $17, $18 million. What did everybody else do? Either new head coaches, GMs, or people running it back. Like, most teams cut safeties this offseason, right?
Yeah.
And it was a bad safety class, and they still did that, right? There's safeties out there that are unsigned. Budda Baker is a borderline Hall of Famer. He's a Ring of Honor, not candidate. He should be in the Ring of Honor. He's an all-time great. And I think I pray to the football gods, can we please get to the postseason this year, in part because I want Budda Baker to be able to experience that again. Budda Baker is going to be 29. Jalen Thompson is an ascending player. Jonathan Gannon's an ex-safety that can elevate defensive back play. I will go on the record. I think this is Budda Baker's last year. I don't think Monti Ossenfort, unless your hands are completely tied, and it's a good problem to have, and he's the best safety in the NFL, and he has, 8 to 10 interceptions and a couple pick sixes, like, has an all-time year, right? I just feel like they prioritize what? Look what they've done the last 2 drafts early. Pass rusher, tackle, wide receiver, cornerback, defensive line. Those are the positions they want to prioritize. Yes, they've got 2 elite safeties in-house, but they don't want to be paying those guys forever. So Jalen Thompson, again, this is made, I think, easier because Jalen Thompson was so good last year, and he's under contract, and he's affordable. Like, I will go on the record, and I'm not anti-Budda Baker. I just feel like the time is up, right? Just about.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree as far as the time is up, but at the same time, it's a show me season for Budda Baker.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a show me season. Like, I don't want to have to say and go to battle for Budda Baker and then come to the table with, well, this is what he does in the locker room. This is what he does in practice. This is what he does as far as with off-season training.
Well, hang on. Let me push back on that real fast. I
want to see it with Budda Baker every Sunday. I want to see Budda Baker get his hands on some football. I need career highs in interceptions. I need Budda Baker impacting the game on a down-to-down base. Now, he does do that, and it's things that kind of transcend the box score, but I need to see him pack some stats as well. I just think that's at this point in his career, when you're looking for your second big deal, it's now it's time you got to see that. Now, I understand, like, with all that being said, I understand his value. It's tough to put a price tag on that. But once you finally get a locker room where Budda Baker isn't one of the few guys that you can point to, it's littered with guys that can show you their process, that can show you how to be a pro, that can be leaders and vocal guys for the team. Like they didn't have at this point last year outside of Budda and James Conner. I think that it makes him, unfortunately, a little expendable. I will push back. I agree with everything you said, and I think, again, it's critical. You can't miss a bunch of time like this past year. The one area I'll push back on is you talk about setting the example. I agree that that's important. Year 1 of a rebuild, year 2 of a rebuild. Next year in 2025 with this team, if the culture and example is not set by JG and the players that they brought in, the Ossenfort and company, like, Budda Baker alone is not going to change that. That's basically what I just made my final point, was like, he's no longer just like the way. Like, maybe I misunderstood.
I misunderstood. Like,
there's a bunch of guys now, and it's because this organization, between Monti and JG and his staff and front office scouting department, they have the ability to identify these guys that are going to be able to to lead by example and also just flat out lead. Like Paris Johnson Jr. is already a leader in this locker room. He's going into his second season. They can find those guys with those qualities, and this organization is no longer devoid of that outside of Budda Baker, and that's a testament to Budda, and it's also unfortunate that in a weird way, it's almost unfortunate, but like they, especially at a position like you said, is under fire across the league, and people are the first time they need to trim the fat salary cap wise, first position they look at is the back end in the defense. Like you got Justin Simmons, who took the ball away the most times over the last 5 years in any safety. Isn't Justin Simmons still looking for work? It's unbelievable.
It is. It's not. Budda Baker's, according to overthecap.com, he's making $19 million this year. So like Budda Baker on the team in 2025, what is he making to support his level of play? Like, I love Budda Baker. Is Budda Baker going to perform as a $19 million player this year in comparison to other $19 million players? I would say that's a tall ask, right? Mm-hmm. Not impossible, but like Monti Ossenfort didn't sign that contract. Now they're paying it and they kick back some guarantees, but I just feel like, Ozzy in the chat saying the safety position is cooked. I think the safety position is an acquired taste now, where, yeah, you can have some guys go in the early rounds, but it's mid-round developmental guys, and it's guys like Jonathan Gannon who can get a Reed Blankenship to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then the Jalen Thompson contract is a reward for a player that was a 5th-round pick, a supplemental pick, the last one, elevated, and he takes the ball away, to my co-host's point. I mean, that's why people look at last season as superior to Budda Baker. He didn't miss time, and he took the ball away more. That's where you have to stand out. And so it sucks. I want him to retire a Cardinal, but I also remember Adrian Wilson once upon a time signed an extension that didn't age well, popped over to New England for a spell, and then was cut, and his career was done. And I don't think Budda Baker's career is done. I think he'll go and have options in free agency. I think somebody else will bring him in. But the Cardinals, I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. We've asked for this team to be built the right way, frugal, premium positions, but then we also want to talk about, let's give out, extensions to almost 30-year-old safeties. Like, that doesn't vibe with what they're doing. So you have to kind of walk that line a little bit. But regardless, he's on the team this year.
Yeah.
And they're excited about that. They would rather have him on the team.
Like, they don't view any, any draft capital that they can receive right now that's going to equal the value of what Budda Baker is going to provide for them going into a contract year. Like, I don't think Budda's ever lacked motivation, but he's going to be as motivated as ever to go secure, his next big deal, continue his career, play his best football. But and if you were to ask Jonathan Gannon, and it's a difference, right? It's a difference as far as what his job title is. Like, Jonathan Gannon would say, sign me up for more than, beyond 2024 for Budda Baker. But Monti Ossenfort's the one where he's got an organizational building philosophy where you don't invest that type of money into that position, and you have the understanding of what your head coach is capable of doing and being a kingmaker from guys who don't come from royalty. Like, it's at that position at safety, and they brought guys like Rabin and Taylor Demerson, and they they got some versatility from the guys that they just drafted. From 2023, with Garrett Williams already playing at the nickel and maybe bump outside a little bit this season. Elijah Jones and Max Melton, who can be physical as well. Like, they got a versatile defensive secondary that are guys who their background is getting their hands on some footballs. And I think it's just time that we need to see it from Budda in order for, the potential for his Cardinals career to continue. Now, you want to bring this list up? Because I want to maybe rank these as far as what you believe is going to be, who's going to be the top priority and who might be down the list.
I mean, it's tough. Like, Trey McBride's number 1 for me. Then Froholdt, number 2. I would say Will Hernandez, number 3. I mean, those are my 3 guys. I know they all play on the offensive side. It's an offensive league. And then, from there, like, I think, is it crazy to say? I don't know. Then I feel like I'm just offending people at this point. Like, the 3 offensive guys, there is a gap after those 3 guys. There's a big gap after the first two guys. So you want to clean me up here, Bo? I think it's Froholdt after Trey McBride. Those are 1, 2. Mm-hmm. And then probably Will Hernandez, although, as you mentioned, it's not a make or break extension. And then I guess, how do you rank the latter? Connor, Baker, and Greg Dortch.
I'm taking a look at the franchise tag, the cost, because I think that that's an option for Trey McBride. Like, he's at least, you don't want to pay all that money up front, but it could give you another year, right? You don't have a 5th-year option with him being a second-year player, but I think he'd be worthy. Like, there are a few guys that you deem worthy of franchise tag, and you don't want to do it from a position of disrespect. But if you can't work something out, if you can't get a deal done this upcoming off season when he's eligible, then you have an option. So that's why I'm not like putting him up there. I mean, if I'm ranking this thing, I'm putting Froholdt 1, and then just based on production, I'll probably make McBride 2, and then if I'm trying to figure out, is it Hernandez or Budda?
Yeah.
That's a tough position. I'm probably going with Budda with the slight edge over Will Hernandez.
Okay.
Just because of what you have on the roster already. But it's a tough debate, right? And then I go James Conner and then Greg Dortch. And James Conner's another interesting conversation.
Well, yeah. Well, let's get into that. I do want to get to a comment here. If we can take the graphic off the screen, Damon, Dawg. Jalen brought this comment up here. And he goes, it depends on what the extension looks like. Giving Budda a 2-year, $32 million extension wouldn't hurt this team or defense. Cards are going to have $70+ million in cap space in 2025. I can tell you unequivocally, they're not going to pay Budda Baker over $15 million a year. Jalen Thompson has the 3rd highest cap hit next year at $13 million. They're not then going to sign Budda Baker for more money as an older player. The only way Budda Baker comes back, in my opinion, is if they find a place in the middle where it's you're right around like $10-11 million. Because right now, what is that going to look like in free agency for a player that's reaching 30 at the safety position that's going to dictate what you're paying Budda Baker? It's just not. It doesn't happen. As my co-host said, like Justin Simmons is still waiting for a call. So I'm sure they would say, hey, Budda, go out there and test the market. We'll let you know if we'll match or not, if you're interested. They're not paying Budda Baker $16 million.
Yeah.
Like he's making $19 million this year. I think to come back, again, it would maybe like 2 for 20. And I'm sure that's like a slap in the face, but it's like that's market for a safety right now.
It's tough not to get disrespectful, to the player in these negotiations. But when you've got a difference of philosophy than the previous regime, it's tough not to be. And I think it becomes the Hollywood Brown type of negotiation, but with but with like the team more willing to, even like if the price was right, to make the deal, right? I mean, I just didn't think that they were motivated whatsoever to bring back Hollywood Brown at all. And
but I understand your point.
It's disrespectful. But when I'm looking at this, it's like, and because of the position, because of the size, like the wear and tear on Budda Baker, and you got to take into consideration, I might actually edge Will Hernandez ahead of him, just because of that. So if you're looking at this offseason, what you need to prioritize, I mean, I think Froholdt becomes priority 1. And I don't know if a McBride extension, because of what I mentioned with the franchise tag, becomes like a priority.
He's not going anywhere by it.
But is it like you're not going to entertain that over trying to retain guys who could hit the open market next March? So it's like Froholdt, Hernandez, and then Budda, then James. Maybe like James Conner, like it's the same thing. You got to find a number that makes sense, and he's coming off of a contract that I don't think is within the realm of conversation and negotiation that the team would entertain, even with all that money and all the respect that they have for James Conner.
I see. There's the one area where I push back slightly, and I'm glad we're having a healthy dialogue about this. So James Conner is making this year. I mean, it's not crazy money for Raymond. He's making $8.9 million.
Okay.
I could see a scenario, although it's not their preference, if Trey Benson, knock on wood, gets hurt, if he underperforms, if it just is not working with the 3rd rounder, which like crazier things have happened, right? guys come to the league, maybe they're overwhelmed. I'm just speaking in hypotheticals. And James Conner does it again this year. 14, 15 games played, bunch of touchdowns, productive, 5 yards a clip. Like, I could see a scenario where they're like, hey, James, you want to come back? We'll give you $10 million to come back, be our starter next year. Like, I can wrap my head around that. I feel like I can wrap my head around that more than Budda Baker. Isn't that crazy? Like, I could see a scenario. If we're sitting here at Thanksgiving and James Conner's crushing it in this offense again, and we've seen some spurts from Trey Benson, and the Cardinals are like, we got an extra $8 million. We'd rather just have James on the team. Here's what you got to remember about James Conner. He is not anybody who's going to stay healthy for 17 weeks. He's not going to have 350 carries. He's not going to be the true bell cow, but he's also not had 2,000 carries in his career where he's worn down Derrick Henry style. Like, for the most part, even though he's an older player, I think his legs are pretty fresh. He's always been a complimentary back, even dating back to Pittsburgh. He had that one big year, but it was Le'Veon Bell in and out. Like, I think $8 to $9 million for James Conner as a 30-year-old back. Like, I've seen crazier things have happened. I feel like James is crazy. He just played his best year ever. He's 28 years old. So who knows? But yeah, I agree. James and Budda, because of their position and their age, that's a tough sell.
Yeah. Kazir White also, according, to the chat, pointing out, going to be a free agent after this year. He's 28 going into this year, coming off the biceps injury, was one of the best, if not the best defensive player. Off-ball linebacker, signed a 2-year, $10 million deal. I think he can make upwards of, 12 and a half at the end of it. What do we think about Kazir? You signed Mac Wilson, you drafted Owen Papo, you got Chris Barnes. Like, it's a position that the organization doesn't seem motivated in investing, but also there's a lot of respect from the coaching staff for Kazir White and what he's already done for this organization.
I would say he can't get hurt again. You got to finish the season healthy. And I think, like it's crazy to think like there's candidates for extensions that have already been here. I guess Froholdt would be of that same group too, but like a Monty guy and then, re-upping after 2 years. But yeah, I think he's a candidate as well. I don't think he's going to cost you very much because again, but he's also still under 30 years old. I think he's 26, 27 years old. You get an opportunity to have him maybe 20, maybe 27, to have him still well under 30 years old, I think and if he's like the coach on the field and he's calling the defense, it's Froholdt 2.0 with the offense. So I don't know. There's going to be tough decisions. The good news is all these guys are going to play for the Cardinals this year. And, guys have a chance to really make themselves some money. You make yourself some money with our friends right now at BetMGM. First bet offer, $1,500. Again, if you didn't take advantage of the Grand Slam jackpot promotion every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through the MLB season with BetMGM, what are you doing? Right now, you bet on a player to hit a home run. If that player hits a Grand Slam, Friday through Sunday, you're going to win $50K in daily prizes or share with any other winning bettor. BetMGM has the most phenomenal deals right now. And again, it's baseball season. We've got obviously the NFL on deck, but some hockey playoffs, whatever you want to dabble in, maybe some NFL preseason bets. Download the BetMGM Sportsbook now on your iOS, Android, or check them out at betmgm.com. Sign up and deposit at least $10 in your newly created BetMGM Sportsbook account. Use the bonus code PHNX. You're going to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your bet loses. So let's say you place the money line bet on the NBA Finals, whomever you want to win game one. If that bet busts, guess what? Bonus bets in your pocket for that amount up to $1,500. But you got to sign up with the bonus code PHNX, and you got to dabble with our friends at BetMGM. Check out the show notes for full details. Now listen to my frenemy, my beer boy, Shane Diefenbach, talk about it in the disclaimer.
Bonus bets expire in 7 days. One new customer offer only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY, 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, North Carolina, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Damon Dog's enjoying a nice cold one. Did Shane get that for you? Oh, he didn't? No, nothing. You got your own. That's nice of you. You know what complements a nice frosty cold one? How about some nice beef from our friends over at Butcher Box? We love Butcher Box, and we can help you save on getting this unbelievable, convenient, shipped to your house beef, poultry. How about some pork? How about some seafood right to your doorstep? It's convenient. It's as far as the shipping, it's free. We love Butcher Box. I got a couple shipments already. Got those New York strip steaks, which are unbelievable. Chicken breasts, chicken tendies are elite. So is the seafood. Unbelievable assortment of great seafood. You get curated, customized box plans. It's going to fit what you're looking for. It's going to save you trips to the grocery store. It's going to save you money. We're going to save you money by using promo code, this link, actually, butcherbox.com/PHNX. It's butcherbox.com/PHNX. Use that promo code PHNX. You get free meat. You get $20 off your first box. Join us today by using that link, butcherbox.com/PHNX, the code PHNX, to receive this exclusive offer while it's still available with our great friends over at ButcherBox.
Great friends at ButcherBox, great friends in the chat for the most part. Super chats en route. Started off with our guy Jason. He's back first in line the last 2 days. LFG Jason saying 1 day closer to the Cards math t-shirt. 1 + 18 = 6. I love that math. It's my favorite math.
What time did that get in? Can we do we see the times that this was dropped? I thought we could see that yesterday.
What's that?
10:09 a.m.
I would imagine that's kind of close to when the stream was made. So, and then we got one at 10:54, 11:22. So, some early birds here.
Yeah. So, Jason, back-to-back super chat, first super chat of the day. Congratulations. You've earned my respect. Plexes, $10.
Ooh, thanks,
Plex. What's the difference between wearing a jersey of MHJ and the shirt that also has his name, number, and even more, a picture of the man on it? In my opinion, the shirt glorifies another man more than the jersey. You know what? I don't know. I just prefer a nice tee over a jersey. That's my personal preference. We can, my co-hosts can put words in my mouth if they want. You can as well. You certainly earned it by paying $10 on the super chat. But I'm not anti-jersey. I like a nice jersey. I think it looks great. But I'm just not going to. I'd rather wear a tee over a jersy any day.
Bo thinks you're a bad guy if you wear a jersey.
He thinks less of you as a person, as a human being, and he already has a superiority complex. So, yeah, it's a tremendous question and a tremendous super chat. Thank you, Plex. And again, we will get Bo in a jersey sooner rather than later.
Plex is trying to get me. There's nothing to get here. It's just pretty simple. I don't like wearing jerseys. You could wear a jersey and I'll be like, I think that looks great. Way to go. Go you.
Oh, that's so disingenuous. What? Way to go you.
Yeah.
That's not real at all.
High horse. He says that.
I can't.
I would be sincere in it. I wouldn't be disingenuous. Let's get to Cardi D, for God's sake.
Oh my God. Cardi D, $2 super chat. See y'all in Miami. I'm ready, boys. Let's go. Hashtag PHNX, hashtag Bird Gang. Perfect transition. So Cardi D's joining us in South Beach for Cards at Dolphins. Are you coming? True Fan Travel is going to hook you guys up. Put your deposits in now. Let's see that graphic, Damon, Dawg. The boys are going to Miami, and the ladies, October 25th through 28th. True Fan Travel. Deposits are refundable through the 30th. So I get a lot of questions. If we sign up now and maybe funds fall through, can we pull out? Absolutely. Till the 30th, get your deposits back. A complete breakdown, we're told available tomorrow. But I'm going to tell you right now, for what you're getting includes travel, bus tickets to and from the airport, a premium hotel, right? Tickets to the game, entry to premium tailgates, hanging out all weekend with your boys. This is easily worth it. Easily. You are saving money. I promise you. If you tried to do all this on your own, coupon clipping, whatever, on 7 different websites, you're not going to beat the price of True Fan Travel. Join myself, Saul Bookman, Damon, Dawg, Bo Brack, and more October 25th through the 28th as we watch Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals whoop up on Tua and Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill in Miami, South Beach. I cannot wait, Bo.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to miss out on this one. You want to lock in your travel right now. Full details, as we said, probably tomorrow. But this is going to be an epic trip. It's going to be legit. You're going to get more than even advertised. I think just hanging out with the entire crew, the entire community on the road in Miami, enjoying the sights, the sounds, the flavors of South Beach, getting you to Miami, obviously with the round trip airfare. You get the round trip transportation to the hotel from the airport and back to the airport, to the game as well. You get to hang out with some Cardinals alumni. You get to hang out with Damon, Dawg. You get to hang out with Johnny and myself. Can't wait for it. lock yourself in today. Excited to partner up with True Fan Travel. It's been unbelievable. Can't wait for that trip at the end of October. It can't get here soon enough.
Yeah, we had talked about it. Like, we wanted to be able to do a package for everybody to go to a game. We vetted multiple travel sites. We had people come with us with proposals, and we were like, that's not good enough. The pricing's not good enough. The road trip's not good enough. We wanted the best. This is your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. This is your premier travel package for a road game this year with PHNX Sports, PHNX Cardinals, True Fan Travel, heading to Miami. I cannot wait. I can't wait to have the list of folks that are going to join us. It's going to be fantastic. It's an extension, as my co-host said, of our draft party, which, I mean, we sold out. We're very thankful for that. Sold out in 2 weeks. We hope to sell out on this because we want to hang out with all of you.
That's right, Sports Hero. Plus free admission to Damon Dawg's impromptu wedding there in Miami. Can't wait for that. We're going to wife him up. It's going to be part of the plan. And also, I think Johnny's circling the date for his redemption to the 999 failure that's coming later this summer.
Let's talk about that real fast. So I was, I texted you after the show last night, you and Damon Dawg. I was in the lab last night. Let me know when you have this ready, Damon. I was working in the lab because, I took offense. So we broke down yesterday. Hjalte Froholdt and the Arizona Cardinals went to the Diamondbacks game, right? They went to the Diamondbacks game, and Hjalte Froholdt casually did a 9-9. Can you explain to everybody, Bo, quickly what that is?
The 999 is 9 beers, 9 hot dogs, in 9 innings in a Major League Baseball game. And Hjalte Froholdt claims that's what he did. Said check the receipts on his wife's Twitter. I didn't see it, but I'm not gonna say no cap on our friend Hjalte Froholdt.
You should never say no cap.
Yeah, it's true. Bro. That is true. That's a good point. I should never say that. But
I'm also not entirely sure what no cap means.
Yeah, cap. Actually, it's cap.
I don't even know what that. I couldn't tell you.
Okay,
all right. I see that a lot.
Let's move forward here. Let's just trudge through that mistake by me.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was brought up. Like we're going to attempt to do that.
We're
challenge.
going to do it. We're eyeing a couple series for the D-backs down at Chase Field. Have ourselves a good time. And like as soon as we brought it up, the chat, they pointed out that our freshly shaven Johnny Venerable would probably struggle in an event like this. So Johnny, you got right to work.
I did. Damon, do we have the photo?
Give me like 10 seconds.
Okay. Right. So I got to work last night. I said, you know what? It's time to train. It's time to get serious. I have about 6 weeks to pull this off. And it's not even like the 9 hot dogs, 9 beers. Like the numbers that were being thrown out yesterday as the over under for your boy were insulting to my integrity and my manhood. So I got to work yesterday. I said, this is going to be a buildup, right? It's you don't run a marathon after committing a week before the race, right? You start to build up some endurance. And you allow yourself to be in a position to have success and just be locked in. And I've got Shane Diefenbach throwing shade at me now. I've got the chat. And so now I sat down after the show yesterday. I looked at my wife and I said, I'm going to make this happen. And she doubted me too. So the most important person in my world also said that there's no way this is happening. So it's truly Johnny versus everybody. Let's get a t-shirt at the merchandise locker. Johnny versus everybody. So I went to work. Damon Dawg, do you have the picture? So I went to work last night. I got a hot dog. I got a bun. I put some barbecue sauce on it, some Sweet Baby Ray's. Actually, that's organic barbecue sauce from Trader Joe's. I cracked open a domestic, and I said, you know what? This is the start of something special. I was in the lab, so to speak, yesterday after the show, and it's only going to continue. This is just the beginning, friends.
Did you not have any sides or anything? Was that just your sad dinner last night?
I'm telling you right now. The sides is what duped me in Indianapolis, so I'm not in the market for sides. When I eat dogs now, dogs and brewskis, I'm only pairing those things together. That's where my mind is. Business trip, winning mentality, dogs and brewskis.
What did you think? How'd you put it down?
So I did really well with the hot dog.
You just wolfed that thing down for your dinner last night?
I did. It was like 3 or 4 bites. I was really locked in. The beer is, like I knew before, is going to be the problem for me. It's going to be tough. I'm hoping that the draft beer is going to be flowing to Chase Field. It's going to be hot. It's just going to feel like just trying to stay hydrated to some extent. So that's where I'm at right now. That's where my headspace is, Bo.
All right. Well, yeah, it's the correct headspace. I just think that, you get a couple, what do we call the Bud Lights? I know we don't like it. We like a nice crispy Bud Light every once in a while, right?
No free ads.
No. Well, Max is not even here. And first, I don't care.
Somebody said arrest Johnny for that. That's a crime against humanity. Mid. Thank you, Adonis. Adonis knows I'm not good.
I don't know if you honestly did keep up the training, which I have very little faith in that you'll be consistent with this. I just don't think that you could still get there.
The beers are going to be the toughest part. And I'm not looking to put on 30 pounds. You guys will know if I keep up with the training. My head's going to not be able to fit into this box every day when we do this show.
Well, he was trying to go. I think you went with the Sparkly Boy, the Bud Light, that you want to go and mimic what you would get at the ball game.
Which is what, like a Michelob Ultra, like we talked about?
Whatever I don't know what they have on tap there.
Fair.
Is it? It could be Coors Light. It could whatever domestic you had in your fridge.
Damon, what kind of domestics do they serve at Chase Field?
The value beer that we were talking about yesterday, they typically have Coors Light or Bud Light. Yeah, that's the options.
Right on schedule.
A couple CL Smooths. I don't know. That sounds. I think you'd be.
People are like throwing around heavy beers like Modelo and Guinnesses. Guys, come on! You're trying to kill me. I'm trying to pace myself for 9 innings.
I could do 9 Modelo.
Me too. No. I was going to say the same thing.
That's the best drinking beer.
That's a good beer.
When we get to the NFL season, I suddenly hate this show. I can do 9 Modelos. You both think you could sit and do 9 Modelos during a baseball game?
Way easier for me to chug a Modelo than a Bud Light, to be honest with you.
Modelo might as well be water to Damon and myself.
Not happy about this. Come on. Ryan, Johnny isn't paid. All right. So listen,
you thought this was going to go way better when you showed, your humble locked in workout where you just had a simple glizzy on a plate in a rough Bud Light, and people were like
semi-warm too. My garage fridge is terrible, and
he thought it was like some Rocky style training regimen.
He thought it was the 5 eggs in a glass just cracked.
Thank you, Joshua. JV Redemption are going to be crazy. They're setting the bar so low. The peeps in the chat, my co-host and my producer, who I thought were my friends, I guess not. It's literally going to be me versus everybody that night at Chase Fields.
Yeah.
My family doesn't believe in me. My kids laughed at me. I mean, it's just right now I'm in a position where I'm backed into a corner, and you know what a wolf does when they're backed into a corner?
Yeah.
They scrap. I'm ready to scrap with everybody right now.
But they usually have their pack to come to your defense. Your pack has abandoned you.
I've been abandoned. I've been abandoned at birth. That's right. Look, you ever hear of a lone wolf? That's your boy. Thank you, Joshua. Joshua's rocking with me. Yeah. That training montage.
Johnny's done a montage before, and he failed. Like his redemption story, it's failed already.
Nobody saw that. That was years ago.
Yeah, that was when people didn't watch this show.
Appreciate it. All right, smart ass. Let's do some ad reads here. Listen, I may not have an inner circle of my brothers and sisters here at PHNX Sports, but I do have an inner circle when it comes to purchasing premium gas at not a premium price with my friends at Circle K. It's America's thirst stop. I'm going to be thirsty that night at Chase Fields. Maybe before I'm going to go hydrate at Circle K via their free new membership program.
It's your training grounds.
That's right. Save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every single day. Thirst, meet your match, because guess what? Right now, if you're a member of the Inner Circle, you can get any size Polar Pop or Froster, just 69 cents now through September 3rd for 79 cents if you aren't a member. So again, it's a 10-cent difference. That adds up. I mean, Circle K, locked in, baby, especially in this Arizona heat. You'd be better off traveling to Circle K than anywhere else. All you got to do under the app in Circle K, look under offers. It is there, and it is glorious, all 69 cents worth. Join the Inner Circle today for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details, Bo.
There's no competition for our friends over at OG's, right? It's undeniably the best cannabis gummy kitchen in Arizona. If you haven't tried it out, they've got unbelievable cannabis gummies, whether it's the fruits, the creams, you're going to love them all. They've got the sleep time gummy as well. They've got the happy balance gummy. How about the orange creamsicle? It always goes hard. We love the naturals that they added at the beginning of the year, the big OGs. They got an incredible product line that you are sleeping on already if you haven't tried OGs. You can find them in your local dispensary. You got to be 21 years or older, but of course, you got to get into this. The big OGs, just for example, it's a huge 100 milligram big slice of OGs that's got 10 perforated slices in it. So you can just kind of pick off, dabble, whatever you want your evening to go, whatever your experience to be. You can do it just with the big OGs that they've got ready to go for you. 100 milligrams of THC, as I mentioned. To learn more about OG's gummies and where you can find them, head over to ogsbrands.com. Follow them on your socials as well, at OG's Brands. Got to be 21 years or older and enjoy it responsibly.
Back to the super chats. Josh, $5. Cards are going to shock the NFL this year. Budda gets his extension. Connor may get one extension if he still shows he has time. 9 to 11 wins. Well, I mean, Cardinals win 9 to 11 games, and Budda and James are a big part of that. Certainly everything's on the table. And if it's the difference between not making the playoffs and making the playoffs, like give them extensions, do whatever it takes. But I think there's just a lot that has to fall into place for that to happen, just for me to believe, Bo.
Yeah, I would say as far as paying those guys money versus going out on the free agent market and trying to fill holes, and then also maybe turning towards the draft. The Cardinals would probably ride with the devil they know versus the devil they don't know, right? And I mean that for lack of a better phrase, but they would rather pay a premium or pay to keep guys in-house that they believe in, that they know, that have bought into the culture more likely than trying to go and find somebody via free agency, because we're talking about guys not at premium positions. Like the top of the draft, the Cardinals are going to want to look to probably add that edge rusher finally, and maybe add to the cornerback room or add another tackle, where I don't know if they would necessarily be looking to fill the guard position, fill a running back position, or fill a safety position at the top of the draft. So it would be a pretty big gamble from year to year if they did not bring one of those or all those guys back.
Yeah, it's a lot to ask. Mike saying $4.99. Thank you so much, Mike. Pay Budda. I mean, it's crazy, the narrative. I love Budda Baker. I mean, there are a lot of people saying get rid of Budda. Last offseason, he wants to be traded, he doesn't want to be here. I mean, that we let our show live. People were over it, right? People are like, the minute you request a trade, and Pat P did this once upon a time in a very much more public setting, things can get ugly. So I'm glad that whenever Budda does hang him up with the Arizona Cardinals, like, he's not going to be remembered like Pat P. And I still think Pat P deserves to be in the Ring of Honor. But like Budda, to me, he's elevated this team and made this team relevant despite a lot of losses during his tenure. And I think unequivocally he is a Hall of Fame candidate and a Pro Bowl level player, and the Cardinals have not had enough of those consistently. So again, I have no issue with people saying pay Budda. Trace Williams, $4.99. Got my Die Hard subscription the other day. Hell yeah. Welcome, new member Trace. MHJ shirt is on the way. Fire. Keep up the good work, boys. Well, thank you so much, Trace. Welcome to the Die Hard membership. And can't wait to see you rocking that MHJ shirt on game day, my friend.
That's right. Welcome, Trace. We're excited to have you along for the ride. Another member of the Cards community and PHNX community. You're not going to regret it. We've got 3 super chats here in a row. We've got another imposter here. Like Blow Brock and like Brawny Venerable. We've got the Schleimenschlag.
This is my favorite one yet.
I sure do love producing for you guys.
We appreciate you, Schleimenschlag.
That's right. Schleimenschlag continues with the $1.99 super chat. Froholdt is the greatest Dane to ever do it. Yep. You'd be hard pressed to find a better player out of Denmark in the National Football League. And then the Schleimenschlag hat trick. It's $1.99. Johnny versus Jesse in the 999 is legendary. Jesse Freeman, our D-backs reporter. I think that Johnny would smoke poor Jesse.
Jesse wouldn't make one. He couldn't get a beer down in one inning.
Jesse would you'd be the 5th inning. He would be just still eating his first dog. He'd be just sipping on his beer. And he wouldn't care that he didn't make a competition out of it.
So I was in the always popping off PHNX Cardinals Discord last night after the show, and Chaotic Bread Bowl put together a list that I'm not going to share on air because I took offense to it, of who would have the best outing as it relates to the 9, 9, and 9. And I was at the bottom, just ahead of Jesse and Erica. And at the top, it was Saul, Derek, and Espo ahead of both Damon and Bo. So how do you gentlemen feel about Chaotic Bread Bowl's listing there?
I know I called out Espo yesterday on the show, but he's not getting the beers down in that challenge. So I'm taking him out of it. I think Derek and Saul are good shouts. I think that they both could complete it for sure.
Yeah, I get that he had Flex, Craig, Owen, Gerald. I mean, he had Petey in the middle, Leah in the middle.
I don't think Flex was drinking like that either.
Lindsay ahead of me is, I'm sorry, that's offensive. This guy had Lindsay finishing more beers and hot dogs than me. And so that alone, I was taking shots and strays in the Discord. But if you want the party to continue after this show, head on over to the PHNX Cardinals member Discord. Got to be a diehard, and you can continue to dance on the grave of your boy until I rebound myself.
Yeah, I don't doubt Saul and Derek at the top. I do believe I would have a better showing than Espo.
I agree with that. I'll put you ahead of me.
I would go to great lengths, put my body in harm's way to be ahead of Max.
I think Max would do pretty well from a beer drinking standpoint.
Max can't even eat hot dogs, guys.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's out.
You
don't like hot dogs? Is he a vegetarian?
Kosher.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
All right.
Thank you, Ozzy. Yes, I am being disrespected. It is pathetic.
Yeah.
Danielle last is good because she's literally a vegetarian, or maybe even vegan.
We could get some we could get some fake meat dogs.
Man,
actually, I've had some fake meat dogs. They're not bad. We're talking about hot dogs here.
Yeah, we mentioned the 18 collection. You get it now. It's available. Again, become a diehard. Join the member Discord. Gentlemen, pick up a free t-shirt, and I think the choice is easy here. Maserati Marv, MHJT, and the 1+18 equals 6 right now in the exclusive PHNX merchandise locker. You can buy these shirts outright. I don't know why you would do that over getting a diehard membership, though, which pays for damn near everything. You get 20% off all future purchases. You get deals on future events. You can hang out in the Discord. You get access to everything 100% on the website for just a tick more, and you get a free piece of merch every single year you're a diehard. Again, it's the best deal money can buy right now. It's available. GoPHNX.com. And I can't wait until my MHJ gear comes in just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, can't wait to get back in the. You got to get into the member Discord. I was unaware of the Bread Bowl rankings.
Does that offend you?
Yeah, it's like it's BCS status. It's inaccurate. We need to find a new system.
Like this video, subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. Big show tomorrow, Brack. We got Brian Baldinger kicking it off, fired up to talk to him about the move of Paris Johnson Jr. going to the left side.
Absolutely. We'll hear from Baldy. And also, we didn't get to it today, but we are going to, with David Johnson, the Humble Rumble, hanging it up. One of the, if not the greatest statistical season in Arizona Cardinals history, break down some of the biggest performances in a single season by Cards players, some impressive outings. And it might include one current Cardinal and one fateful season. We'll get into that discussion tomorrow.
Like this video, find this podcast wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. Closer and closer OTAs continue, and we're excited to watch this team. When is Marv going to sign his contract? When will you be able to pick up his jersey? What's going on with Fanatics and more? We'll tell you about it on later in this week's show. Again, like this video, drop a comment down below. How many 9, 9, and 9 could you do if you could do any? Everybody throwing shade at your boy. Let's put your money where your mouth is. Let us know in the comments down below how many you can do. Let's get this video to 300 likes here on a Football Tuesday. For Damon, Dawg, Brack, I'm Johnny Venerable. We'll see you on Wednesday. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.